Hello, I'm making this video in response to the arrest of a 49-year-old man with the last name Cahill. He was arrested in Sumpter Township a few nights ago when he ran into the back end of a van and injured, and then shortly thereafter, a 12-year-old girl was killed. He has been arrested 13 times on a DUI. And because it's his 13th time and it made the news, they are now putting $1 million bond on him. This guy has been a ticking time bomb. It is not up to the police. He's been arrested 12 times. I would love to know if the same judge that he has gone before in many times before this. The video they have of him after it occurred, he was so drunk he seemed totally oblivious to the fact that he had injured a child and now she's dead. A 12-year-old child that he had a whole lifetime to live forward to, and now that life is snuffed out because of somebody's ignorance and stupidity. And the blame just doesn't stop there with the drunk person. That would be something that I would think that maybe someone who is not recovering would put the blame on. He's had all these tickets, he should know better. I'm sorry. The person who has been doing the sentencing for this gentleman should have thrown away the key with him a long time ago and made mandatory drug testing and alcohol and drug rehabilitation a thing to help him straighten out his life. Sometimes, as people who are using, we always don't have the best judgment. Sometimes, for me, it only took one DUI, and the idea of hurting another human or animal or anything like that would crush me for the rest of my life. And so, therefore, it's been 28 years I've been sober. And I see all these cases going before judges in Michigan, and they give leniency. I don't know if the lawyers playing the system. There are loopholes. Loopholes have to be changed. It has to be to the point where the person has to go through counseling, has to go through treatment, whether it be inpatient or outpatient, but it must be mandatory and it must be thorough. There's only so much that our police officers can do. They cannot prevent tragedies when somebody gets behind the wheel. Maybe at some point when someone gets a DUI, a mandatory breathalyzer has to be attached to the wheel, being the only way that they could drive. This gentleman has been without a license for 26 years, and yet he was on the road. You can't punish because it makes a person feel like they can never rehabilitate themselves, they can never change. You have to provide a pathway to be able to change. This, I'm guessing, 12 of the times, he was just drunk driving. I used to drink and drive, and I know that many people my age in their 50s or a little bit younger used to do it too. It would come to a point where a car is a weapon, and somebody who is disabled mentally by alcohol or drugs, it's a dangerous weapon. There's all kinds of things that can happen out on the road beyond running into a drunk driver. Somebody trying to get somewhere and blowing a light or something like that. This is preventable. People who get treatment, we need more people, qualified people, do treatment. And those are the people that are in long-term recovery. I'm begging for the state of Michigan, the United States of America, to start putting to use its assets in people who are in long-term recovery. These are people who have been through it, understand what it takes, and also have enough guts and strength within themselves to backtalk anybody who says it can't be done or it's too hard. It's only too hard if you just don't want to try. People have to try. People have to change. There's a certain segment of people in this world, their genetics are, they're susceptible to being alcoholics, having addictions, and the person who develops it has to be wary of it and stay from behind the wheel. If you're going to drink, drink at home. This beautiful young girl, and I don't know her, but at 12 years old, I can't imagine she's anything but innocent and beautiful. People have to start taking more regard for other human life beyond their own. Whoever you worship, whether it be Buddha, Allah, Christ, if you're Jewish, it doesn't matter to me. You can all have your faith. Believe as you will. Don't force it upon me. Believe as you will. But also believe that life is sacred and staying from behind that wheel when you've had too much to drink. If you're unsure, then don't get behind the wheel. Make a phone call wherever you have to be. If you misjudge it, maybe someone can drive you to where you need to be, but you cannot be behind that wheel. You cannot be the person driving the car. Get an Uber, get a Lyft, get a taxi. There are so many ways. This child should be alive. And this happens time after time after time. And I've had enough. I want the people of Michigan to stand up. I want the people of this country to stand up to people who have addictions and hold them to a standard that is greater than the politicians that we have in office, because they're ignoring it. I want to see something done. I want to see something done now. This isn't my child. This is not anybody I know. I'm sick and tired of young people losing their lives over something stupid, whether it be a gun, whether it be drugs, whether it be alcohol. At some point, somebody has to step in and be the responsible person, whether it be an adult, whether it be a teenager, whether it be a policeman. We all have to stand up to the scourge because it's going to continue to tear the country apart. Addiction lies in, there are politicians that are addicted that may not be willing to face up to it. There are officers of law that possibly do. There are so many factors that go into making wrong decisions. Sometimes you have to breathe and say, not today. You're not having me today. And this is my little rant. You know, this beautiful child, and I'm going to keep saying beautiful child because she was 12. She hadn't even had a chance to experience high school yet. And God love her. God love her family. May their grief be held in the hand of God and taken away as much as it can be. I'm sick and tired of this. People need to stand up. We need to get our leaders to be leaders, not to kowtow to the trending topic. We've got many issues in this country, and the first and foremost is addiction, and right behind it is mental health, and they go hand in hand. I don't care about the goddamn economy. Bring back jobs. Do whatever you got to do to encourage jobs. It means not taxing more. You can't tax people more. There's been no growth in wages for years. And you've got all these companies sitting on money overseas. I'm sick and tired of it. This child has brought out the anger in me regarding other things other than addiction. But it all stems back to that. Inaction by people who are in Washington, who are in Lansing, who are in whatever capital, whatever city you're in. We have to be vigilant. We have to strike forward. And we have to hold people accountable when they make a promise to take care of the things that we want taken care of. And not make empty promises. No more empty promises. That's all I've got for today. I'm angry. Not anyone in particular, except for these judges that let people off when they're dangerous, whether they be felons or whether they be people who have, you know, drunk driven 13 times. My God. And caught. That's how many times he's caught. How many times was he not caught? I know. I used to drive drunk. I only got caught one time. Anybody that tells me, oh, that was the only time, bullshit. You're full of shit. You do it once, you do it twice. You can get away with it, you're going to do it. That is the mind of someone who is addicted. If they don't catch me, no big deal. Get off the roads. I don't want to see any more kids die in Michigan. I don't want to see anyone die. Animal, person, nothing. I don't want to see any of this. I've had enough. Straighten up your act.